ultimately when you thought about where to go? Why did you end up picking Auburn?
It just seemed like really the perfect fit. They had a big need at the position, and I felt like I can come in. When I came on my visit, I really bonded with the guys here and felt like we could do something special, and that's what I want to be a part of, was something special. So.
There's been so many reports, I'm sure you've seen it, former teammates, fifth-year guys, and their thoughts, and told they had to try out. And was that accurate that you were told you had to try out?
That was not my case at all. Coach Harbaugh did handle things a little differently when he came in, but I think it was everybody's case was a little different, and that was not my case at all. So I wouldn't know.
Like this opportunity, when you started looking for schools, obviously you look at Auburn and the need at corner. I mean, how quickly, when you got here this summer, did you say, okay, I got a real shot to come in here and play?
The coaches were pretty straightforward on my visit, and coming in, they're a new staff here on defense, so coming in, going through the spring, they said there wasn't a guy that really stood out. John Jones had a good year last year, but he didn't go through the spring practice, and then they had the injury with T.J. Davis, and it was kind of shook them up a little bit too. So they were still looking, and then they had a few guys that decided to go somewhere else. So they were real upfront and real honest with me that that the opportunity is there. You can come in and you can contribute, but you're gonna have to work for it. And I think once I got here, I really saw that, and I'm here to work.
How hard is it, Blake, when you just got 1 year to have to learn a whole new defense, and you don't really have time to take it slow?
Well, that's the beauty of it. Actually, the defense that I ran this spring at Michigan is the same defense that we're running here. So Coach Durkin actually worked with Coach Muschamp and Coach T-Rob last year at Florida, and he's the D coordinator now at Michigan. So the terminology is a lot of the same stuff, and the learning curve is very small for me because really I've had the same amount of practices in this defense as the guys that were here have. So.
What have been your first impressions of Coach Muschamp? It's pretty
intense, very intense, and he really wants the best for his guys, and he's not going to settle. So now that's what you want in a coach, so because it demands your best every day, every play. So.
Was that a big part of the reason that you chose Auburn? I mean,
absolutely. Coach Muschamp and Coach T-Rob had a very big impact on my decision, and I would kind of say that's where Auburn had the advantage over the other schools.
Like, have you noticed any differences between the program here at Auburn and where you've been at Michigan?
As far as what?
Just anything sort of stand out to you? Any differences? How things were done?
The heat, the tempo, a lot of things. Strength program's a little different than what I've been used to. Just as far as Olympic lifts and things like that. You got all the guys in one place at the dorm. A few little things, minor things, nothing major. College football is college football, but I think the little things that Coach Malzahn has put in place is what is ultimately going to make us successful.
Have your new teammates been pretty good welcoming you in?
Absolutely, and some of the older guys that were here this summer and the young guys, they just got in here. So, but everybody's been very accepting, and that's a big thing when you transfer too. I've only gone through this process once, but if you go somewhere and you're not really getting along with the guys, that can affect you a lot.
Yeah, one of those older guys, Chris Ross, said you guys had kind of kept in touch since you played together in San Antonio. Was that helpful, having somebody here that you were familiar with?
Absolutely, no doubt. Chris Ross was a guy that we met in high school. We played on the same Army All-American team, and I knew he was going to be honest with me. So Chris Ross was definitely somebody that was my first point of contact. And actually, Josh Hosey reached out to me before I even came with my visit, just to catch up and see where my head was. And he kept it pretty real too. So just the little things like that is what really gave Auburn an advantage when I was making my decision. And I'm happy I made the right decision.
What was that conversation like with Josh? You say he kept it very real with you, because obviously you coming in, while it'll help the secondary, it could mean you either moving inside, we saw you out there yesterday as an inside spot, so outside today. Josh could be moving for the 10th time in his career. You could have a very big impact on where he plays, so just what was that conversation like?
You know, we need help. I'd love to play with you. We have no depth right now. We have 3 freshmen coming in. And that was really the extent of the conversation. And, you know, hearing it from a player is much different than hearing it from a coach. It's T-Rob, Coach Muschamp. Both explained it to me, but it kind of really puts it in perspective when you hear from a player. He said, we have a chance to be really good in the secondary, but we have no depth right now. And you coming in is going to allow us to do some different things on defense that we really just can't do right now.
Where do you think ultimately you're going to end up position-wise? I mean, T-Rob had said he thought outside. We've seen you in both spots so far. Where do you think you're going to be?
You know, we'll see. I like to think of myself as pretty versatile, so we'll see where it goes. But I'm moving around a little bit right now. That's all I can say.
I'm just gonna, what were your impressions of Auburn before you actually got here? I mean, I guess you probably knew Cam Newton from that 2010 title team, and you probably remember at least some of the crazy plays from 2013.
Right.
What did you know about Auburn before you came here?
Not much. My best friend actually came here to just go to school. My best friend from high school, she's a female. She wants to be a dentist. So, but as far as the football program, I didn't know much. You know, I watched them a little bit just from being in college football, but I didn't know much about the program. Didn't know much about the tradition, the history, and things like that. But you know, it's a special place. When you get on campus, you see the difference pretty quick.
How much are you thinking about, I mean, I don't know anybody that's ever had the opportunity to play in the 2 rivalry games that you'll have a chance to. Is that something you think about already?
Absolutely, and that was actually one of Coach Muschamp's selling points is, you know, we're going to be, well, first game's in the Georgia Dome, the 3rd game is down in Death Valley, and then you're going to be able to play in one of the greatest rivalries in college football. You know, being in the Michigan-Ohio State rivalry for 4 years, it's going to be interesting to see the difference.
What do you remember about facing Alabama when you were at Michigan? I know it was a very dramatic game for you, and what happened?
Yeah, you know, it was really just one series for me on defense. We were 3 and out. Our offense went 3 and out at the time, and I was a gunner on punt. Went down on punt, and I had actually beat my guy. Went to make a cut, and he had I guess caught up, closed the distance. He pushed me the other way, and that was really it. And I sat me down, put ice on my knee, and said, "We're gonna look at you again after the first quarter." After the first quarter, it was 21-0. So you know that was really good. They took me in after halftime, and I don't think I even came back out.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Blake.